had always had a feeling that someone had documented some part of this relationship with John Coltrane. I never dreamed, I must say, that the United States government actually documented.
Well, I read about it in the New York Times. I was very, very excited about this.
It's the best music we have by these two people playing together, I think.
To hear something you never heard before, hear a performance you've never heard before, I don't know, it's really, really exciting. It's like a buried treasure.
It's a revelation.
The fact that they rediscovered this tape is important from a historical point now. Whether it was that important then is not important. That is not what counts. It's what it means now.
I got an email from Larry Applebaum saying, I found it. And at first I was like, found what?
I thought, well, it's possible this is a rare, unpublished recording by Monk. And then when we went to digitize the tape, I heard the tenor saxophonist in the quartet, and I knew it was John Coltrane. There he is. My heart started to race.
Believe me, I think there's still a hole in my ceiling from where I jumped up from my seat at the computer, you know. It was astounding.
My reaction was this was a sort of a perfect archaeological storm. Thelonious Monk and John Coltrane playing together is of enormous historical importance because this is a relationship that was relatively, in fact, greatly undocumented.
When I first heard this recording, the first thing that struck me was how nicely it's recorded. I love on the first number, which is a slow number, when Train starts to play, you can actually hear the sound of the hall. You can hear the room, you know, the airiness of it. It's a great quality.
You hear something that's at a level of high genius that you've never heard before. It takes you totally by surprise.
It was unbelievably modern then, you know what I mean? So today, it doesn't sound like just some old artifact or some ancient music or something. It sounds fresh.
You know, the sound was just so pristine, and you could hear every instrument very clearly.
We get to hear not only the full range of the piano, we hear Shadow Wilson's cymbal work that might be lost if you had an overhead microphone. You hear definition on Ahmed Abdul Malik's bass, and you hear Coltrane, very present. It's actually high quality location recording for 1957.
The more I listen to it, the more I think it's, you know, amazingly beautiful.
It sounds like a very good concert recording. The drum set is very well recorded, and you get to hear Shadow Wilson just being a very lively tap dancing kind of drummer, and he also contributes to the fun element of the music.
The recording was so magnificent. My mantra became, I want to restore this concert to what it sounded like to the people in the room. And so I got together with a fabulous, fabulous young brother by the name of DXT. And DXT does all of the electronic stuff for Herbie Hancock. And the guy is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I said, you know what? You know the technology. You know the possibilities. We spent basically a week preparation and then a solid week of maybe 8 to 10 hour days going through every sound on this tape in truly a forensic fashion and utilizing the best software possible, the best hardware possible. Those who listen to this recording, without a doubt, will say, wow, sounds like I recorded that yesterday.
So one of the first things we notice when we listen to these tapes, it's the music, it's the performance, it's the artistry and creativity, and it's Monk, right?
That Monk plays like mad. I mean, he's just really hyped up. You know, he's playing a lot of notes and a lot of music.
To hear them stretch out like this, you know, on this piece, oh, it just keeps building and building, and they're right on time. They're right there, you know. I don't know. I can't really kind of describe what I'm hearing, but I love it.
Monk is just having a great time. You can hear him you know, enjoying his music being well played by Coltrane.
They were committed. They were committed to make great music at every moment, all the time.
You know, it's very high-spirited music in a lot of ways, very witty, and it's not a mystery. It wasn't like, oh, this is far-out stuff and we have to figure out how it works. I think the music really communicates very directly, very immediately.
There's an arrangement on Sweet and Lovely that they do double time, and then they go back into the original tempo.
You know, we've heard Monk play this many times. It was always in his repertoire, usually as a solo piece or maybe with Charlie Rouse with the quartet. But to hear what happens when Coltrane, you know, is involved with this piece, and then they double up, and he's playing double time and so on. It's just wonderful. So I don't know, that's something you just have to wait for. It's a great surprise on this album, and one of the highlights, I think. See, Monk lays out, and Coltrane doubles up. It's
This concert begins with a ballad.
When that tenor comes in, it's almost shocking how beautiful it is. You know, the sound of the tenor is just sort of like like a fog that's slowly moving.
the playing and the synergy between Monk and Coltrane was so amazing, you know, that I just said, we have to have this. We just have to have this, you know. It was like we were on a mission. Anyone that is a serious jazz fan will have to own this record. Anyone that's an emerging jazz fan, a new jazz fan, will want to own this. It's that important. It's that musically important. It's that historically important.
These guys didn't set out to be innovators. They set out to be great musicians, you know.
These were world-class artists that everyone in the world of jazz knows about, and even people that don't know jazz knew Coltrane and Monk. They know who they were.
To witness music being played on a very high level, you know, technically, emotionally, conceptually, you know, when all these pieces are coming together, it's very exciting, very exciting.
It's just a delightful recording to have available to us.
It grabs you.
It's really a masterpiece for the two of them together.
I can only say that I'm glad I came to work that day.
I'm sure any jazz education or music education courses, this is going to have a place, certainly.
I think kids who hear this will say, well, that's pretty good. That's cool. You know, let's hear some more like that. And presumably that'll bring them into jazz all the way around.
Bruce Lundvall, by putting this album out, is doing a great service for jazz.
No one sounds like either of these guys. I mean, absolutely no one. Two very, very special players.